Hey Heartlanders, today's video is part 2, continuing my interview with Shaun and Shea Johnston. They talk about their often tumultuous relationship, as well as how they connected on the set, and how Heartland has changed their lives forever. Watch this.
You know, when we first started making Heartland, it was really a Romeo and Juliet kind of story with a young ingenue and in love with somebody that wasn't accepted.
The rebel outsider, yeah.
Heartland is predicated on a couple of things. It's predicated on family and love within family. But it's also predicated on tragedy. And you know, our very first episode, the pilot episode, was all about Amy losing her mother, Jack losing his daughter, and how this family is going to get through it together, and what kind of future are they going to have without Marion.
I didn't know what to do. So I went out, Mom. And that's why Mom's dead. But what am I gonna do now, Grandpa?
You're gonna get on with your life. So Jack also, you know, Lindy, Jack's first wife, is a very interesting idea to me. And I would love to see, you know, in the tragic loss of Lindy, I would love to see the young romance between Jack and Lindy when she was when they were all that kind of stuff. You know, it would be a big ask, because it would mean you have to go back 50 years and to tell that story. That's a very costly idea. You know, it's more of a period drama. If you were going to do epic things like rodeos or something 50 years ago, that would be a big ask financially for the producers. So I suspect that idea won't happen, but I sure think about it a lot.
Thought you'd never wake up.
I didn't want to be an actor when I was young. I didn't get into acting until I was, you know, I was married, and by the time I started training acting, I was already married.
That took a lot of guts. What made you think, okay, now I'm married, I'm almost like, I don't know if you already had Shea or your other kids, and then say, now I'm going to do acting? That's such a huge leap.
I was intending to be a lawyer. You know, the kind of the joke about that whole thing is that when I asked my wife Sue to marry me, she thought she was marrying a lawyer, and I quit that pursuit and got into acting by accident. And that accident was, I got a letter from the law faculty that said, you are on academic probation.
Oh no.
You were granted your Bachelor of Arts degree in error. You are 1 credit short in required credits for your degree. He said, we're giving you till the end of the semester to pick up that 1 credit, and that 1 credit is in fine art. So I went to the registrar's office and I showed them the letter, and I'm going, what the heck? I said, I need a fine art course, and I need it now, least amount of homework, because I've got tort law coming out my yin yang, you know. And they said, oh, take drama. They don't do anything in there. So I did. I took drama, and my first drama class changed my life.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing story. So when you went back home and you told your wife, okay, I'm quitting law, I'm going to go into acting, what was her response?
Yeah, it was, she was in a state of shock. And so I made a promise to her. If I'm not successful by our definition, you know, her and I, if I'm not successful at this craft by our definition of success by a certain time in our life, I promise you that I'll get out. And well, you know what happened is I got work and I loved it. And the more I loved it, the more work I got. And so I have raised my children as an actor.
Well, that's amazing because it shows like if you love something and you keep working at it, you can be successful if you just keep trying,
Yeah.
and you have that positive attitude.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was a lot of heartache thrown in there. I've done a lot of things to make ends meet while I was, waiting for the big breaks, as they say. But I've laid hardwood floor and I've pumped gas and I've washed cars and I've been a delivery guy and you name it, I've done it. And doing what it takes to,
Yeah.
provide and be a good dad and, uh, all that kind of stuff. And the end of the road, we haven't seen the end of the road yet, but the path we're on is pretty good.
Now that's even like with Heartland. You went into that and you were 20 years younger than the character they were looking for. That must have took some convincing on your part.
Well, I needed to be convinced, not them. I think they kind of had their mind made up, but it was myself that was super skeptical about this one. There's a thing in the business too where, sometimes you feel like you go to an audition when you really don't have a shot at it. And you get that vibe sometimes where they're seeing you for the sake of seeing you and not for the sake of giving you a good hard look and considering you for the role. And I thought it might be one of those situations because of my age. So I forced their hand a little bit and said, if you guys are serious about me, you need to ante up and you need to help me become Jack. I can't be Jack on my own. So you guys have to help me become Jack. Give me some hair, give me some makeup, I'll do the rest.
Right.
But you guys have to make me presentable as an older character. And they did that. And that was to win over the broadcaster because the broadcaster had the last say.
Yeah, I've heard that they have a lot of say in the show in Canada. Is that how it works with shows in Canada in general? Okay.
Yeah. And, thank goodness Michael Weinberg, he's essentially
The king of Heartland.
he's the king of Heartland. I don't say that lightheartedly. He is definitely the king of Heartland. He went to bat for me. He knew that he wanted me to play Jack, but nobody else was convinced. And he went to bat and they were throwing pitches high and hard at him and he was fighting them off and he won.
He's an amazing person. He like knows the future. It's almost like I want to ask him what stock to pick because he knew Heartland was going to go like 15 to 20 years, he said.
Yeah, well,
and he knew you would work as Grandpa Jack.
He became Michael Weinberg on Wall Street, I think. But,
yeah, it's because he's almost like you. He went back. I mean, not went back, but he changed careers.
Yeah.
He was an investment banker and then decided to become a producer.
Yeah, I know. And it's his brainchild. He bought the rights to the Lauren Brooke series of books, and he was the only guy that could make Heartland because he was super smart about it and super faithful. He had so much faith in himself that he could put together a team to tell these stories. You know what? I had a lot of good luck along the way too, Nita. It's I like to think that I earned my good fortune of being in the right place at the right time, but there's a lot of right place at right time. It's a good thing I was unemployed when Heartland came out.
Well, it kind of funny, like you didn't even audition for Jack initially, did you?
Oh, that's true too.
You auditioned for Tim, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I went in and laid down my version of Tim, and I thought it went pretty good. But they were seeing Michael Weinberg being one of them, Dean Bennett being another,
Yep.
Because Dean Bennett directed the pilot episode. But he's a fantastic director, and he was at the helm of the pilot. And so I went in there and laid down my version of Tim, and but they were seeing me as not Tim, as something else. And that's when my agent called and said they want to see you again. I went, oh, that's a good sign. That's a callback for Tim. Oh, they want to see you for Jack. And I had read the script, and I said to my agent, no way.
And I think that's one of the things about Heartland. The cast is so talented. You've just had this cast that just fell into each role so well. They were so believable.
That's one of the things that I'm most proud of in Shea's work on Heartland is that that it's a pretty seasoned cast. It's a cast it's a group of actors that is really, really well cast, physically and skills wise. And for Shea to be welcome into that particular group, it was a real feather in his cap.
Like, you guys have such a tight-knit, close-knit family, just work so well together, which is really nice for you.
Yeah, it works pretty good. And like I say, Cale's got it in him. It's just it's up to him to let it out.
Are you the dramatic one, and then your brother is more like the shy one? Is that why he's not really like sure about the acting going into that?
Well, you know what, Cale likes what Cale likes. He's a quiet soul. There's no question about that. I have always been a lot more outspoken than he has, and whether that's for better or for worse. A lot of times, if you ask my dad there, he'd probably say it's for worse. But with that being said, though, Cale and I have a really great dynamic now. We didn't always get along. Oh, but like, honest to God, Nita, our family, we didn't really get along for a long time. The film industry is really hard on families. I mean, it's not unheard of to put in 60 to 70 hour weeks doing film. And because of that, we didn't really find our groove as a family until probably honestly, just a few years ago. But it has been so nice since. Like, now that my dad is in kind of his groove with Heartland, I have found my place within the industry. Cale has found his place as a person and is very willing to help us out, which is fantastic. Things have fallen into place, which has been really nice. But because of our family dynamic for a long time, my dad not being around, I wasn't particularly happy about that.
But those hardships that you went through probably help you as an actor too. Like, you can draw on them.
That is exactly what it is, though. I mean, in my humble opinion, acting is nothing but drawing from personal experience, right?
No acting allowed. Here's the rule: there's no acting allowed. Only listening and feeling.
There you go. And so with that being said, like, if you can get out of your head and you can feel a little bit more, that's when things kind of fall into place. And both in almost everybody's career, like my dad's, Cale's, and our families, it feels like we've kind of just fallen into a nice groove in the last few years.
And that's so neat, because Heartland, again, it's affected your family in such a positive way, just like so many other people. It's amazing.
It's been a fantastic ride. Like, I was in grade 12 when Heartland started. Heartland season 1, I was in grade 12, which seems like an eternity, which is so weird. But with that being said, it changed our lives exponentially, and only for the better. Like, it was a massive boost in our family dynamic. I loved it and continue to love it.
And then do you love the country life yourself, Shea? Are you more like city person? Or are you
I
becoming more country now that you've been involved with Heartland more and more?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that last little bit there. I am becoming more and more interested and about it. I grew up a city slicker through and through. Like I was a suburban kid in Edmonton. I grew up skateboarding. I've never, shame on me, I've never ridden a horse before. Yeah,
Well, I wonder
I
if
know.
in season 16 if they're going to have you on a horse or not.
You know, the fact that Shea has not needed to ride a horse on Heartland is based on what kind of scenes he's playing.
Right.
And
Yes.
if we were to tell more stories about the young Jack, I'm sure that they would put him on one. Then you'd learn all about that then.
But at the same time, you're around a lot of horses when you're on the ranch, anyways. Like you see them, and
Yeah, yeah,
um,
100%. I'm certainly comfortable around them, and we have a beautiful stock that we work with on our show. Like they're some of the most fantastic creatures. Period. Horses are some of the most intuitive creatures
you can
on
tell
the.
that in the
On
scenes.
the
They actually look at people. It's amazing. It's
yeah.
like they're actors.
Yeah, I
No,
know, man.
Like
Yeah.
actually
And
though.
they're really smart, you know. Like they pick up on routine very
yeah,
quickly. And,
Yeah.
when we rehearse a scene, for example, and we're coming around the corner into the barn, let's just make something up. We're
yeah.
coming around from outside into the barn and going in a certain direction in the barn. They see that for the first time and they're going, "Oh, what's happening?" And then you do it a couple more times and they're starting to anticipate that they hear roll sound and they hear the word action and they know Amber's going to be coming in. So now when she doesn't come in, they're looking. Yeah, you know, they're really super, they're really super intuitive. And sometimes that buckskin horse that I ride a lot in the show now since Paint passed away, which was a tragic episode. That buckskin horse, the buddy horse, he gets a little rammy, eh? He's
Got
and
attitude.
he can when he's in that mood and he hears roll sound, he just starts to. It's like, oh, you pay attention and make him listen to you. So sometimes just to outsmart Buddy a little bit, whose name in his own life is Bullseye. Anyways, when he gets rammy and revved up like that, I'll say to our people, okay, don't say roll sound. Just give me give everybody just a little bit of a hand signal. Don't say the word action. He knows that he's going to be working in about 16 seconds. He's going to be going. And so all of a sudden we're making the story and Buddy, old Bullseye, he doesn't even know he's in a movie.
Thanks for watching part 2 of our 3-part series with Shaun and Shea Johnston. And remember, keep Heartland strong. Bye for now.